Welcome to Greek for a Week. I'm glad that you are with us this week as we look at two more verses here in 1 Peter chapter 1. I'll be considering verses 10 and 11. And again, we are still looking through the paragraph, chapter 1, verses 3 through 12, which is, I'm contending here, is Peter's eulogy. This is where he is giving praise and adoration, if you will, to God, especially in verse 3 when he indicates as such, blessed be God, and then he continues to walk through that. Verse 10 here and verse 11, I wanted to leave verse 12 for another week just because really verse 12 seems to be not only quite long, but given verses 10 and 11, I wanted to just take the opportunity to kind of pull these aside and see what we could find grammatically with these two verses here. So concerning this salvation, the prophets who prophesied made careful searches and careful inquiries concerning the grace which is for you, by examining into what sort of time the Spirit of Christ in them was indicating by bearing witness to the sufferings in Christ and the glories after these things. So as we look at a couple of things, you'll note that I used the word concerning a couple of times. You could use concerning, but you could also use with reference to. So I think this peri here is a preposition, obviously. And then there's another peri here. And I'm going to indicate that both of those are with reference to. So the first one here is with reference to salvation, which again is pointing back to not only here with reference to this salvation, but also the salvation that's mentioned in verse 9. Then you have propheti right here. This is my nominative subject. So the with reference to salvation has been fronted for emphasis, and again makes the connection to verse 9, but we actually find our nominative subject back here. And then we have an attributive participle. So we have a hoi is my article, and then the prophe tu santes. That's my attributive participle, aorist active participle, masculine nominative plural. Again, attributing the quality of prophesying, which makes sense to the prophets. And then I've already made note of this peri here. That's with reference to grace. So here is the article, and then here is the noun with reference to grace. Again, that is what is referred to as that which they made careful searches and inquiries. And then lastly, you have eis humas, which is your prepositional phrase there. I think eis with the accusative typically is goal. So it's for you or for the goal of you. Then as we work our way down to verse 11, the first word here, round ontas, present active participle, masculine nominative plural. That's the plural form of raunao. And I'm going to suggest there probably a participle of manner, explaining how the prophets made those careful searches and inquiries, and that is by examining into what sort of time. So that's this phrase here, the eis tina e poiom chiron. Into or for the goal of what sort of time. I think the ace there is kind of indicating that moving forward. The de lu, okay, that is your third person singular. Imperfect, active indicative of de lao, was indicating, would be a good way to translate that, was indicating. And then by, I've included here by bearing witness. So I take this participle here as a participle of means, the means by which the Spirit of Christ was indicating or was revealed or made clear in them. That's a present middle participle, neuter, nominative, singular. So that's basically verses 11 and 12. Again, there's, of course, you see the meta. Let me go ahead and include this. The meta tauta, that's after these things, typically with meta plus the accusative, would indicate a temporal marker after these things. And again, the tas, let me include this here. The tas, here's your article for doxos. Again, hopefully this has been helpful. I know there's a lot more we could work through and discuss, but that's verses 10 and 11. So next week I will look at verse 12, and then the following week we will diagram. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.